Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy COMMANDOS 212 here, bringing you guys another lore video. You guys requested it and I decided to do it, and this is going to be a new lore video on the history of the Commandos. It's something a little different, but hey, that's what these lore videos are about. You guys it's been highly requested and I thought I'd give it a shot. So before we start though, I really got to thank you guys for the past couple days of love and support and making me really just want to bust these videos out for you guys, and it's just, really been, a really just awesome experience seeing you guys give me this feedback and just hearing from you guys that you like seeing me do this, and it's crazy. But besides that, keep on doing what you guys are doing, and I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing. Let's get right into the video. So the Commandos were a special forces unit like the Onyx Guard, not too long ago that I made a video about, that were dispatched and made by the Coalition of Order governments for unpeacetime movements. And by what I mean by unpeacetime movements is war. What they would do is they would use the Commandos as an infiltration unit. They would use them for grab and go missions, and they needed it to be quickly finished, something quickly done, something quickly, just handled professionally. And we know two actually famous Commandos, but we don't really know the backstory of the Commandos, like why they were made, what they consist of, why they're even like what are Commandos, why don't we just have gears? Well, there's a story to that, and I'm going to get to that, but I'm going to explain to you. I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but those two Commandos that we know about are Victor Hoffman and Dominic Santiago. And if you don't know, Dominic's older brother, Carlos Santiago, was also a I think maybe he was a regular gear or maybe he was a commando. I'm not sure. I have to check on that. I'm pretty sure he was a regular gear. But if not, I'm pretty sure he was a commando, and that's what prompted Dominic Santiago to become a gear in the first place. If you guys didn't know, this is a fun fact. Dominic Santiago wasn't actually trying to become a gear at all in his early life. He came from a long line of soldiers, and that's what his brother wanted to do. Carlos wanted to follow in his father's footsteps. His father was a commando, if I'm correct. He was a gear, and he fought in previous wars. And his brother wanted to, uphold that mantle, as opposed to Dom. He really didn't want to do that. He wanted to lead a pretty normal life. And what happened is him and Maria, his wife, you know her, she sadly passed away. They did the dirty. And Dominic thought that he was doing it safe, when in reality he slipped up and he messed up on his end, and he got her pregnant, and they had their first kid. Now, when he had the first kid, he was still in high school. He was a student, he was like, how the hell am I gonna, do this? How am I gonna take care of this family? And both sides of the family, the girl that he got pregnant's family was freaking out. Her dad was pissed. His dad was, calm though. He was like, I'll walk you, I'll walk you through this, but this was your mistake, so the majority of the work is gonna be done on your side because this is your child. And Dominic Santiago, on the other hand, as the good man as he is, he saw his wrong, and he wanted to wrong his rights. So he wanted to right his wrongs. That's what I should say. And what he did is he joined the military. He joined the COG, and in doing so, right around that time, Marcus was thrown into prison. And there's a whole story. We could get into this in another video if you guys want, but I'm pretty sure other famous YouTubers like Barricade 2091 have already covered the lore of Dominic Santiago and his story, so I won't get into that too much. If you guys want to, check it out on his channel, and he's got that down packed. But back to the Commandos. The Commandos were a special infiltration unit, much like the Onyx Guard, like I said before, and they were very sneaky. They would attack you in the jungle. They would blend in. They were like a perfect example. If you guys played Call of Duty Ghost, the prologue, the very beginning scene of that game, where they covered themselves in ash, as not good of the Call of Duty game it was, the prologue was pretty cool, that cinematic, and it showed how they blended in a lot. That's how the Commandos were seen. They were seen as ghosts, just as the Onyx Guards were. And they were made to silence rebel groups, and the rebel groups that were before the pre-Locust War that were very huge at the time were the UIR. So the UIR didn't really have special forces, as opposed, they had a fully mechanized army, they had manpower, but they didn't have a special forces unit until they met with the Onyx Guard, and the Commandos were an even bigger problem for them. So the UIR formed what was called the UIR Elites. We got those as DLC characters, and the UIR Elites fought Commandos and Onyx Guards. So the Commandos actually got ambushed so many times by the UIR, camouflaged as gears when they would it was a constant battle of camouflage, and the Commandos did a really, I'm gonna be honest with you, they did a hell of a job doing their camouflage. The Commandos would come out of nowhere in jungle strikes, and there's parts in the novels and comics where they would do very famous attacks, and you wouldn't see the Commandos coming at all. They'd be in jungle war paint. They'd strike a camp of UIR soldiers, and then that would be it. They'd sweep them, and then they'd move. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a special commando group. They are called the RTI 26 Special Tactics Group. Now, that group they're actually one of the most, I'd have to say, badass groups in Gears history, and I'm going to tell you why. So they actually took part in a very, very, very important Gears war, and that Gears war was, this was actually during Asfo Fields, if I'm correct, and the RTI Special Tactics Group, they were a small band of commandos, and this small band of commandos, they were like, the best way I can describe them is that they were like savage in nature, and they were cool and all, but the thing that I really liked the most is that each person of the RTI Special Tactics Group had a flair to them, and you don't really see that a lot. I mean, you do. I'm not gonna say you don't in Gears games, but this group really had it. So the RTI Special Tactics Group had one of many important jobs, and one of those many important jobs was taking place on Operation Leveler, where the Gears, or the Cogs, stole the Hammer of Dawn from the UIR. And one of the famous, or one of the people that you play as during the prologue, I believe, is Lovedik Young, or you can look at the people or the Gears while you play the campaign if you want to replay it. But I'm gonna show you who one of them is and what he did. So, I'm gonna butcher his name, guys. I'm so sorry. Ludovic Young was a Gear commando who served in the Coalition of Ordered Government's army as part of the 26 RTI Special Tactics Group that took part in Operation Leveler. Preparing for the operation, while on board the CNV Pomeroy, Young and the rest of the commandos participated in practice runs by dropping into the sea in Marlins carried by a Sea Raven. Shortly before the operation began, he asked Major Victor Hoffman what his family would be if he told, if he got killed during Operation Leveler, what was he going to tell his family? As he did not want them to get shocked years later. And this was a special forces, task that he was given. He wasn't able to speak to his family. He was off for weeks practicing and training for this mission. He couldn't really tell anybody where he was, what he was doing at the moment. So, Hoffman later told him he would tell them the truth as much as he could and had to assemble the rest of the commandos on the hangar deck. After he gathered them, Hoffman arrived and told all of them that Operation Leveler was to go, and to get some rest before the battle. Operation Leveler. Young was in the Marlin driven by Sergeant Cho Ligan. The commando team made it safely to shore and worked their way to the facility. When a UIR commando squad approached the building, one of the special elite versions of the UIR, Hoffman ordered Young upstairs to guard the bots. He guarded the bots, and those were like the jackbots. They needed them to hack through the many walls that they had guarding Hammer, data and all that crap. So another commando named Joe was nearly done. Well, he wasn't really a commando. He was more of a bot, and the commandos included the bots as part of their squad. But Joe was busy hacking. He was nearly done. Hoffman then used hand signals to inform him that there was a hostile on the roof, and to get the bots out of the building. When the instruction for the operation began, Young set the timer on the explosives in the building as they left, and grabbed a civilian woman who was frozen in terror as he ran from the building, screaming at her to start running. When they began to move away from the shore in their Marlins, Youngs came under attack by two Chimera... Oh shit, dude, I hate the UIR freaking names. The UIR had choppers called Chimeras, and burst into flames and began sinking. The other Marlin pulled alongside after shooting down one of the Chimeras, and Private Dominic Santiago and Private George Timio pulled Young on board. But he was either already dead or was killed when the remaining Chimera strafed the second Marlin. So he actually was like a recruit, during all of this, and many of the commandos during Operation Leveler were recruits. So it was kind of a sad time. It was kind of like seeing babies go to war. But if you guys did enjoy this video, slap a like and leave a comment down below if you would like for me to do something else. You guys let me know what. And don't forget to subscribe. You know, I'm busting these videos out for you guys. I love doing these. You just let me know what else you want me to, you know, do. Anything else I can cover. But yeah, like I said, that thing with Dom, if you go to Barricade 2091's channel, he's got that entire thing unlocked. He's got that thing packed and full of information that you would want to know about him. So I'll be signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one. This has been Skull and Bones 212. Peace. Very quickly, guys, just before I let you go, the 26 RTI group was trained by Bernadette Mataki, and that'll be for another video.